All right, this is the first time I've ever been on YouTube Live. And I made a message on FaceTime Live, Facebook Live, but I couldn't figure out on how to get it from Facebook to YouTube. So I'm going to make you your own message, YouTube, and maybe I'll start doing more YouTube Lives. We'll see how this goes. So today I've been getting a lot of messages. I'm sitting in my office, working, writing, working on my next book, and drinking Dos Equis. Am I allowed to show beer on YouTube Live? I don't know. And I've been getting a lot of messages about Norma McCorvey and her. There's a documentary coming out. And in this documentary, it's being claimed, I guess there's video footage of her in an interview saying to this documentarian that she faked her conversion to the pro-life movement for money. And it says she did this and she got over $500,000. So that was $500,000 over 22 years. So that means like $25,000 a year. I'm not a mathematician, do the math. That doesn't seem like a good deal, right? So she claims she used the pro-life movement for money, and they used her because she really is the biggest name in the abortion debate. Oh, by the way, I should have said this. I assume people know. Norma McCorvey is the Roe in Roe versus Wade. She became pro-life, became an evangelical Christian, and then became a Catholic. And the claim is in her deathbed confession that she faked the conversion for money, and she got a whopping $25,000 a year, $500,000, which is about what I think, less than what the CEO of Planned Parenthood makes every year. She made in 20 years. So here's what you need to know. Norma McCorvey was a friend of mine. She wasn't my best friend. She was a close friend. We were friends, and I loved her. Norma McCorvey was, the word I use for her is cool, because that's just the word. She's somebody who had a lot of sorrow. You could see it in her eyes. You could see how painful her life was. And anyone familiar with her, there's a lot that's public about how hard her childhood was. And then there's a lot that's not public about the challenges she faced in life. And I'm not going to address any of that. I'm going to address the two main claims of the documentary: that Norma McCorvey used the pro-life movement and Christians for money, and then in exchange, we used her to speak against abortion. And it's not true. Well, I should wait, hold on. The first claim is not true. Norma McCorvey did not use Christians and the pro-life movement for money. If she did, she got a really bad deal. She made like $500,000. The documentary claims she got over $500,000 in 25 years from the pro-life movement, I guess for honorariums and payment for projects, or donations or grants to help her support herself. And what I want to say is Norma was my friend. I got to know her through the pro-life movement. I'm a part of the pro-life movement. And Norma would ask me for help from some time to time, never a lot of money, pay for the electric bill or the water bill or something like that. And when I could, I would help her like I help other friends. There was no sort of quid pro quo. It's, I got to know you. I like you. You need help. Here's help. And it was never a lot. And I know other people helped her too. And so Norma never used the pro-life movement. And I'm not saying she didn't say what she said in the video. I'll get to that. I believe that, of course, she said what she said. It's there for you to see. But people say a lot of things that aren't true, especially under duress, when they're sick, when they're dying, when they suffer from depression, all those things, which is what Norma was going through. The last couple of years of her life were very hard. So she never used us, right? Never. Now, did the pro-life movement use Norma McCorvey? Yes, we did. But we did not do it intentionally. When Norma was a young girl, a broken girl, a girl that suffered from abuse as a child, she was used by the advocates of abortion. And they selected her. They picked her, they targeted her because she was weak and she was vulnerable. And they used her to push for legal abortion. This big what became a very big abortion industry used this young woman intentionally. When she became a Christian, when she became pro-life, we used her unintentionally. What do I mean by that? I figured it out. I think it was in 2006, 2005. No. It was in 2008. I was at an event. I'm sorry for figuring this out as I'm talking to you. It's YouTube Live. It was at an event in Chicago. Norma was on stage and she was speaking, and she looked at everybody, and she looked out across the crowd, and she just stared at us for about 2 minutes. She said, "All of you hate me. All of you hate me. You're judging me. I can feel it. You hate me." And the rest of her speech became incoherent. And she struggled with depression and whatnot. And I realized then I'm never going to ask, and I didn't ask Norma to do this project, but I had her do other things for me, other speaking events, things like that. I said, I'm never going to ask Norma to do anything again. This is a woman who's my friend, who I'm just going to try to love and support. I'm just going to try to be there for her. And I would actually try to dissuade people. No, you don't want Norma to speak. And I felt like a bad friend because, people want to talk. They have a message, they want to say it. I just felt that Norma needed to tend to herself, that she needed to take care of herself. But it's a big country, 300+ million people. There are lots of events going on, and a lot of people are excited to have the Roe versus Wade speak. None of them were thinking, I want to use this woman. I want to take advantage of this woman. They were eager to let her share her story. But the way I look at it is sort of like the prodigal son comes back from Egypt. And the first thing his brother did was like, look, man, your story is powerful. I got you a book deal. I got you a publicist. I got you a speaking agent. We've already got 7 speeches booked. We've got a bunch of television shows for you. Your brother just came back from Egypt, the story of the prodigal son. And he's like, I was just hoping to hang out with you and dad for a while. I don't know if I want to go on a speaking tour. Or even if he's like, yes, Egypt was horrible. I got a lot to say. You might be like, why don't you just hang out with dad and I for a little bit, Take a breather, take a break. So here's the reality about Norma. She was used by the abortion industry. Then the pro-life movement, we were probably not as thoughtful about the challenges she was facing as we should have been. And now even in her death, she's being used again by the advocates of abortion. Can you imagine that? Even in her death. So what I say is, those of us who knew her should tell the truth about her. That she was fun. She was spirited. She had a great sense of humor, as all people who've suffered a lot in life do. She had that very special sense of humor that was birthed in pain. She is a woman that carried the most divisive Supreme Court decision in the history of this republic on her shoulders. And both sides were fighting for her. When she was advocating for abortion for the first half of her public life, she made more money than when she was advocating for life. So if you're picking a side and you want to make money, go work for Planned Parenthood, right? Even the documentary that says she did all this for money, she made $500,000 in 25 years. That is not a lot of money. So $25,000 a year on average over 22 years. That's what the pro-life movement, that's how much money went to the woman to speak out against abortion. That was the biggest name in the history of abortion. And so clearly it was not about the money for Norma. But Norma did struggle with mental illness, especially towards the end of her life. Norma and I had conversations, and I know that her struggles went to some deep and dark places. And there you have a film crew there. I haven't seen the documentary. I guess it comes out in a couple of days, asking her these sorts of questions in the final days of her life. It's really unthinkable. So I'm not going to fight with the abortion industry over Norma McCorvey. Norma McCorvey is my friend. She was a thoughtful, decent, beautiful woman who wrestled some powerful demons. And I hope no one in the we do not have to attend every fight you're invited to. And I'm one who tends to like to fight. So if you invite me to a fight, I'm usually going to take you up on the offer, right? And even when you want to quit, I don't quit. You invite me to a fight, I'm going to fight you for the rest of my life. You got me. You're not going to leave. You're not going to lose me. You got me. But Norma McCorvey's not someone I'm going to fight over. She deserves better than that. We should never, not speaking ill of the dead is, I think, one of the most basic rules of human decency. Not baptizing the dead is also a basic rule of human decency. In her final last public pronouncements were that she was pro-life. And Norma struggled with a lot. And I don't care what she said in that documentary. She was a decent, beautiful woman. Norma McCorvey was my friend. That's all. Hope that was coherent for my first FaceTime, Facebook, YouTube Live at the end of a long work day. Just very sad, very sad. I just wish you guys could know, like everyone could know the Norma McCorvey that those of us who worked with her knew. Funny, full of life. Aloha.